a breaking news story, a very interesting one, as we're just getting this over the feeds as a potential high-speed bus chase there in Gwinnett County, there just in Atlanta, Georgia. I do want to put up our helicopter shot, and you can see police in pursuit. The bus there just hiding behind some of these trees here, but this is a high-speed chase. We don't know exactly what's going on, but you could have seen some of the bus potentially running people off the road. They're going down this, doesn't look like a highway, but just like a street in a suburb. As the bus comes, looks like it's slowing down. We don't know exactly what's going on, but let's see if you can read what's going on. It potentially says emergency on the front of that bus. You can see that in the very distance, but plenty of police with their lights on for this bus. As it's kind of a commercial bus there, not going necessarily at high rates of speed as of yet. Let's take you out to our Fox 5 team as they're covering this. Well, they just shifted to the other major breaking story out of that county, so we're not going to go to them just yet. But this bus chase taking place, and you can see the kind of tire strip there trying to blow out some of the tires, not slowing down despite the police's best efforts, authorities there. And it's a busy day, just about 5 o'clock on the East Coast, weaving through traffic right now, going through some of these stoplights, police closing off some of these streets, almost hitting that car going into the gas station. So also viewer discretion is advised. Don't know who was on this bus, who was driving this bus, what led up to this. But it's a breaking news story there out of Gwinnett County in Georgia. So we're still trying to get as much information as possible here about this, but a breaking news story on the ground. And we're going to carry this in full because it's obviously very, very interesting, but it is driving very recklessly. They're trying to throw some of those spike strips down, but it was not, did not hit them. Now they're behind these trees there as well. So I don't know exactly what happened. You can see potentially police in pursuit behind of it, 4 or 5 cars in total, as it's a breaking news story there in Gwinnett County, just outside of Atlanta on this kind of local road, 2-lane road, rolling through a potential stop sign, stop light there. You can see the parking lots, but this is unusual, a bus on the ground in Gwinnett. All right, we're going to stick with this here as we're just doing this live, raw, and unfiltered police chase involving a bus. We do know that the bus says on the front, emergency. I don't know exactly what is happening here, if something is potentially wrong with the bus or if there is someone taking over the controls of the bus. But it is continuing to go down these streets. They tried to throw a spike strip. It looks like the tires are still inflated, at least what from my perspective here high atop, courtesy Sky Fox, rolling down the street as the people on the other side of the road potentially do not even know what's going on, as it is about rush hour 5:01 on the East Coast as people getting off work, going home. This to begin the month of June. So going down some roads with the wooded area, police in pursuit. We've seen potentially trying to have some pit maneuvers, other different tactics to slow this down, and it is unusual. We see pursuits sometimes out of Los Angeles, sometimes out of Miami, but this one, a high-speed chase involving a bus in Georgia. You can see the police going in front of them. Now you can see smoke coming out the back of this bus. I don't know if that's something to do with the engine or the tires. Might be slowing down, might be trying to have some pit maneuver. You imagine they're trying to kind of assess the situation on the fly because they don't know how many people are on board, upwards of 50 potentially if this bus is full or something. Now it is going into kind of the median area. I don't know if it's going to stop, but it's avoiding these cars. It's slowing down, so it doesn't appear to be anything necessarily mechanical, as they would be going at the same rate of speed. But now they're on the other side of the 2 yellow lines, going the wrong direction. How dangerous this is for those people on the ground there. As you can see, swerving out, potentially losing some of the power on the right side. It looks like some of those tires are flat, hitting cars. Oh my goodness, viewer discretion is advised as this bus chase continues on, weaving through, and this is an extended vehicle, longer than basically any other car on the road. So it's hard to maneuver through. It's wild that it made it through all of that traffic. A few fender benders along the way as our feed now going out just a little bit. We're getting it high atop here. I don't know if this is a change shot or kind of a replay, because it almost feels like a replay. But still high atop. We're just going to assume this is live as of right now. We're not getting any word from our Fox 5 team on the ground about this. As the pursuit continues, number of police officers, they have seen the bus hit several patrol cars. They don't know what led up to this. I believe this is maybe just a replay because we might have lost the feed. All right, I don't know where the feed went here on LiveNOW from Fox. Now it comes back. So I believe this is live. They just maybe went over something like a dead spot where the cell towers did not work there, but I believe we're back there in Gwinnett County. So they're kind of pulling out a very wooded area, not necessarily downtown, not necessarily in the middle of it. But let's go right now out to our Fox 5 team as they're covering it in full. Police chasing a transit bus on this road. Let's listen into what they have to say here on LiveNOW.
It's traveling down Jimmy Carter Boulevard,
where police are pursuing this. It's quite a bizarre scene. Fox 5's Russ Spencer joining us from the live desk with more. Russ, what do we know now?
Well, we know a fair amount, Tom and Courtney, but we don't know whether there are people, how many people might be on this bus. We just got a report from Atlanta police. Let me read this to you as we go back to the live pictures, because this could end at any moment, although it's been going on now for quite some time. Here's what we heard from APD. Officers responded to 45 Ivan Allen Jr. Boulevard Northeast in Atlanta in reference to a dispute on a Gwinnett County Transit bus. Upon arrival, the bus fled from the location. Currently, officers working to stop that bus so they can investigate. Well, this was quite some time ago. Since then, that bus at a high rate of speed sped up I-85 and actually rammed into several Georgia State Patrol cruisers. Got off at Jimmy Carter Boulevard, as you say, headed eastbound on Jimmy Carter Boulevard, hit some more cars there. We saw police deploy spike strips. Those spike strips did not work. They then turned on to Lawrenceville Highway and most recently went into the left lanes. Now it looks like that bus has stopped. This is the first time we've seen that bus stop in the entire chase that's been relatively slow speed so far. So let's see what happens here. This, I believe, is Flintstone Drive. That was the last I heard. This is Sky Fox 5 above the road there in Gwinnett County. Help me out here, folks. I hear you talking in the newsroom. Perhaps you saw something that I didn't see. Have they made an arrest of that person? Did we see somebody get off?
People get out of the bus with hands up.
Okay, so we've seen some people get out with hands up. I am looking down on this just as you are.
From our vantage point here in the studio, we can see that there are people being let off the bus.
There we go.
It looks like one at a time, and they have their hands up behind their heads.
Exactly.
It looks like they are being told to get off the bus, from what we can see.
Question is, who was behind the wheel of the bus the whole time?
Right. Initially, Tom and Courtney, there were some reports that came into the Fox 5 newsroom saying that shots had been fired. That has not been confirmed by police, but again, we can see people getting off that bus, as you say, with their hands raised. My view here in the newsroom is not exactly ideal, and of course the trees are in the way as well. But it looks like police have this under control. As we widen out, you can see the extraordinary police presence. At one time, I saw at least a dozen local police cars and Georgia State Patrol troopers following this bus at relatively slow speed after it got off of I-85. But again, we don't have any idea what the dispute was, but it started again at 45 Ivan Allen Jr. Boulevard. And when police arrived, whoever was behind the wheel, whether it was a Gwinnett County bus driver or not, we don't know at this point.
And so one can only wonder if those were passengers that were already on the bus. You say, Russ, that this started with some kind of skirmish on board the bus?
That's what we understand. I mean, it's described simply as a dispute. So, and now we see some more people.
SWAT car.
Is that a SWAT car right there, Cal?
Yeah, there have guns pointed at the
And they have guns apparently pointed at the bus. So the implication would seem to be that whoever was driving that bus, the person who's the suspect that they're after, may still be on the bus. Is that a reasonable conjecture, Cal, do you think?
There are a number of people behind the bus. I think those are the people that went off with their hands raised.
You're looking at this just like we are, but we have another vantage point from a traffic chopper as well that shows a lot of police congregated behind the bus.
Yeah, tough to see because it's in the shadows, and we did see those several people, presumably innocent bystanders with their hands on their head, get off the bus, and that SWAT vehicle in front of it so that it can't go any further. What's happening now, though, is sort of anyone's guess as our helicopter hovers above the situation.
Yeah, one of our executive producers, Josh Voigt, informs me that it appears that SWAT has entered the bus. So obviously, well, I shouldn't say anything is obvious at this point, but it would appear that things seem to be under control. Obviously, this chase ended 3 or 4 minutes ago after extending for, I would say, at least 15 or 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta up I-85 again at a high rate of speed. At one point, this bus rammed some Georgia State Patrol cruisers, and then once it got on the side roads, Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Lawrenceville Highway, Mountain Industrial Boulevard, that's sort of the path that it took.
Let's see
crossed over into the left-hand side.
We have someone in custody here.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's being led away there, Russ.
Looks like law enforcement is carrying presumably the suspect away with their hands behind their back.
There we go. See,
We've got a huge police presence here taking them to what looks like a squad car.
Right, absolutely. I was looking at a different shot that we have here from Skyfox 5 to my left, but you're absolutely right. That's the money shot right there of the arrest having taken place.
Suspect.
Just a bizarre scene again unfolding in Gwinnett County. Heavy police presence here as what appears to have been a chase of a Gwinnett County bus comes to an end. At times, high speed on the interstate involving striking of other police cruisers on the road and efforts to get this bus to stop using spike strips, and then slowing down here on secondary roadways with the dramatic scene unfolding a couple of minutes ago of what appeared to be innocent people getting off the bus with their hands on their head.
It has to be just an absolutely terrifying situation. No telling what those people have been through.
All right, what a wild story there. A suspect now in custody after this bus chase there in Georgia comes to what potentially a safe conclusion. I do want to continue here with this just to give you a little bit of a recap as you were watching that here on Live Now from Fox, but it was a high-speed bus chase. A dispute led to this, as I want to put up some video as police on the ground there trying to potentially apprehend this individual. I just want to run you through it very, very quickly as police throwing out some spike strips there on the ground, trying to slow down this bus. To no avail. It eventually continued on, and it was weaving through traffic, hitting different cars at intersections. This one in Gwinnett County. They're just off of Jimmy Carter Boulevard, as we don't know exactly what led up to this, but you can see them weaving through cars, hitting cars in Gwinnett County. A wild situation. A dispute on a bus, according to our Fox 5 team, led to this chase. Some fender benders there, as eventually it did say emergency, said call 911, so we don't know what was going on. It eventually came to a stop as potentially the end of the engine was on smoke and fire, but you see people coming out of this with their hands raised, going down on their knees. I don't know how many people were aboard, but it looks like potentially dozens of people on board this bus. Eventually, SWAT showed up trying to get on the bus, and they did apprehend the suspect. We do have the ultimate shot here of this as they did lead away this potential suspect in custody there down this road. And you can see the amount of police force as suspect in custody after this high-speed pursuit in Georgia involving a transit bus there. So we don't know who this individual is, what it led up to it, but we're going to follow it into the evening hours. I'm Andy Mack. We're back after this.